The fleet drifted above the dust-colored world like a crown of steel reefs. Hundreds of ships formed the defense ring that shielded the throne world of the Solan Dominion, a realm feared for its silent rulers and their command of storm energy. Many believed that no visitor could step upon their capital without kneeling in awe. Yet on this day, a single human called Kalen stood inside the royal hall, blood drying along the edges of his suit, but his breath steady. He had arrived as a stranger. He stood now as something far more unsettling to the Solan court. Queen Mara watched him from her silver throne. Tall guards lined the walls, each wrapped in armor shaped like flowing water. Their glowing visors tracked Kalen, but none dared move, for they had witnessed what he had done in the great arena. They had watched him step between the child of the queen and the lightning spears of a traitor. They had seen him take strike after strike meant for the young princess named Lyra. They had watched him fall, rise again, fall once more, and still stand in front of the child as if his bones had been hammered from star iron. The court had trembled. No outsider had ever bled for a Solan royal. No one had ever dared. Mara had commanded the guards to bring him forward. She had expected arrogance from a lesser species or foolish bravado. Instead, she found a calm depth behind his eyes, as if he had walked through storms long before he reached this palace. That calm unsettled her more than any thunder she could summon. The hall grew quiet. Columns of crystal rose to the star ceiling, refracting beams that wove patterns along the floor. Kalen stepped forward only when the guards gestured. He carried himself with a strange mixture of discipline and modesty. He bowed his head, but did not break his stance. He honored the queen without diminishing himself. It was a gesture no Solan would dare, yet none found insult in it. They sensed something else in him. Something human. Mara spoke at last. Her voice carried the hush of distant storms. She asked why he had taken the strikes for Lyra. She asked why a human risked his life for a people who barely acknowledged his kind. He answered simply. He said he had seen a child in danger. He said he had moved without thought because protecting a child was right. He said it with the quiet certainty of one who did not require praise. His words did not shake. His posture did not fade. His presence did not shrink against the weight of the throne. The queen leaned forward. She studied him with the gaze of one who had ruled for many years. She sensed no falsehood. She sensed no hidden motive. She sensed only truth, and the truth was heavy. Lyra rushed forward before any guard could stop her. She wrapped her arms around Kalen with a soft sob. The girl had been shielded since birth from the world beyond palace walls. Yet here she clung to a human with no hesitation. Mara saw this. The court saw this. The storm hearts of the Solan trembled. Mara dismissed the guards. She stepped down from her throne and approached Kalen. Her crown sparked with faint arcs that danced through the air. She stopped before him and looked him in the eyes. She felt no fear from him, but neither did she feel challenge. His courage did not rise to threaten her. It rose to stand beside her. She told him that his act carried great consequence. Among her people, taking a strike for a royal was more than bravery. It was an ancient oath made through action rather than words. It bound protector to crown, life to life. It meant that the protector had become part of the royal line in spirit. No outsider had ever taken that role. The weight of this truth rippled across the hall. Kalen listened without shifting. He said he had not known the meaning of Solan tradition, and he said that he did not regret his choice. Mara felt something twist within her. Not fear, not anger. Something quieter. Something warm. The queen returned to her throne, only to rise again. She commanded that Kalen remain in the palace as honored guest. She ordered that healers tend to him. She declared that from this day onward, none would speak against his presence. The court bowed in obedience. Yet murmurs filled their thoughts. Why would the queen offer him so much? Why did her voice carry an undertone that none had heard before? Kaelin was taken to the healing chambers, where luminous currents flowed through stone channels. The healers guided the storms through his wounds. They spoke of his endurance with awe. Human bodies were considered frail by Solon standards, yet he had survived lightning that would shatter their soldiers. They asked how he had stood through the final strike. He simply said that Lyra had been behind him. That was enough. Mara visited that chamber. She did not send guards or attendants. She stepped inside alone. Kaelin rose the moment he noticed her, though the healers urged him to rest. She waved them away and approached him. She asked again why he had acted, not out of duty or honor. She asked why he had chosen her child with such instinctive protectiveness. He answered with the same quiet certainty. He said that every child deserved to see another sunrise, and he said that he had been raised to stop harm where he could. This time his voice softened. Mara felt the warmth again. They spoke long into the night. She asked of his world and his people. He told her of forests thick with rain, deserts that burned under twin suns, seas that roared like living beasts. He told her of humanity's will to survive and to grow. He spoke of the mistakes his kind had made and the courage they carried through each one. Mara listened. She found herself wanting to hear more. She found herself wanting him to stay. Over the next weeks, he walked the palace halls freely. He trained with Solon guards who expected him to falter, but instead found themselves struggling to match his tenacity. He learned their methods quickly, adapting with a fluidity they had not thought possible. He did not overwhelm them with strength. He surpassed them with resolve. He moved like one who knew that every breath counted. Lyra followed him often. She asked many questions about humanity. She watched him spar with guards twice his size. She laughed when he stumbled and cheered when he prevailed. She trusted him completely. Mara noticed this trust. She felt gratitude, but also something deeper that began to take shape within her heart. One evening, Mara invited him to dine in the high chamber where only family was allowed. He accepted with the respectful calm she had come to recognize. They ate beneath the shifting lights of the star dome. She asked what he intended to do now that he had recovered. He said he would leave if she wished it. He said he would stay if she allowed it. The answer was balanced between strength and humility. Neither submissive nor demanding. Mara felt the storm within her swell. For years she had ruled with steady judgment. She had seen alliances form and fade. She had watched empires rise and crumble. Yet never had she encountered one who moved her heart as deeply as this human who had taken lightning for her child. She realized with startling clarity that she did not want him to leave. Not as a guard, not as a symbol of ancient oath, but as something far more personal. She stood and approached him. She told him that among her people those who saved the life of a royal could be granted a place beside the throne, not as servant, not as warrior, as partner. His breath caught slightly, though he did not step back. She said that this choice could not be forced. She said he must choose it willingly. The hall seemed to hold its breath. Kaelin looked at her with the same steady depth she had seen on the day he first stood in the royal hall. He said he needed no reward for saving a child, and he said he did not protect Lyra because she was heir to a throne. He protected her because she was a child in danger. Yet when he looked at Mara, he felt something rise within him, something he had tried to silence, something he now recognized without fear. He told her that he did not wish to leave. He told her that he would stand beside her if she truly wanted him there. And this time his voice carried warmth. Mara stepped closer. The storm crown dimmed. Her hand brushed his cheek. She whispered that she wanted him not because he had earned honor, but because he had shown heart. a heart stronger than any storm, a heart she wanted beside her for all the years still to come. Kaelin took her hand gently. He said he would stay as long as she wished it. Mara felt a quiet thunder bloom inside her. She realized she had found someone who met her strength without fear and her vulnerability without judgment. Someone who had taken the strikes meant for her daughter without hesitation. Word spread across the Dominion that the Queen had chosen a human as her partner. Some questioned the choice. Others whispered of ancient tradition fulfilled. But no one denied the truth they had witnessed. A human had faced the storm and stood unbroken. On the day of their binding ceremony, the palace shone brighter than any star. Lyra stood proudly beside them, smiling with the unguarded joy of a child who had been given a family greater than she ever imagined. The people gathered in the courtyards. The ships lit the sky with arcs of light. The storm at the heart of the Dominion roared with approval. Kaelin and Mara stood together beneath the rising glow. She placed her hand over his. He bowed his head to her not in submission, but in unity. She declared before all that he was bound to her life and her throne. He declared that he would face any storm beside her. The ceremony ended with a single crack of thunder that echoed across the world. It was said that the storm itself had honored their bond. In the years that followed their rule, became known as the era of twin hearts. Mara ruled with clarity and strength. Kaelin guided with wisdom and quiet resolve.